I have been messing with the camera angle for far too long, and now I just don't care. It will be what it will be, and my only intention is to say hello to you and tell you some things that have been going on over the last month or so, and also to play you a song. So that is what I shall do now. It's called Autumn Leaves because it's autumn and it's magical, and the only words that I know for this are autumn leaves. If you know the words, that's pretty cool. It's a really beautiful song. Oh, that's such a beautiful tune. Um, so anyway, autumn leaves, you guys. Have you had a chance to get out in this beautiful weather yet? I know it just life gets so busy and sometimes it's hard to get out and find time to go for a walk and enjoy the season. But that is something that I have been trying to do um, almost every day. I have not been feeling that great. I don't know. It comes and goes sometimes with me. It's just girls will understand. But it's just sometimes I every month sometimes like clockwork just I can't do anything for a few days, and so I can't even go outside and go for a walk, which is so maddening. But despite that, I've been also trying to get out and really enjoy the season, and it's just so magical. If you are lucky enough to live in a place where you actually do have the four seasons, it's just so, so beautiful this time of year. It's my favorite time of year, and so I'm joyful and trying to feel the fall vibes as much as possible. In fact, what have been some like fall things that I've done recently? This weekend, I'm going to go apple picking with some friends. My husband and I are going to go, and then next weekend we're going to go for a little autumn hayride, and I planned it so that it's on a full moon. So it's on a full moon, and it's in the apple orchards, and it's going to be in a little wagon, and I'm sure that it's going to be mostly for like little ones, but I have a witch's hat, I have a witch's dress. So I might just have to like come in a costume, and my husband will just come as himself, and it'll be magical. But maybe I give him a broom or something. I have like a little I can give him this thing. Maybe he can like carry this. Do you remember this from previous like Halloween videos? I don't know. I always try to do something Halloweeny. Poof, you're now having a magical day. Amazing. It's almost so much better now. So I wanted to come here and tell you a few things. The first thing is that we're going to do a holiday series on Patreon. So we've finished up, we are finishing up the Old Masters for Young Players series over on Patreon. And so I thought we could use the blessed website 8 Notes, which I have already reached out to, and they've given me their blessing that I can teach some classes using music from their website. And I thought that what we could do is kind of gear it towards really beginning kind of levels for the first few of them. On the viola has to know the treble clef and the alto clef. And so I thought, well, it's a really good opportunity because a lot of us are going to know some of these Christmas songs and Hanukkah songs and Yuletide songs by ear, although I'm going to try and show you some of my favorite ones that are kind of more medievally. The Hanukkah ones, you're probably going to know the Hanukkah ones if you know. But anyway, I thought it would be a good opportunity to actually just kind of make things a little easier for those of you that might need some just simple stuff. So if you want to join that and get a head start on any holiday-ish music, because they will be here before you know it, I'll link everything below for you. It's just patreon.com/violin viola masterclass, and it's $5. I would be grateful for your support there. There's also 4 tiers, so there's some other fabulous things if you want to check those out too. So the other thing, I've been in like a learning craze, and I've just almost completely stopped listening to podcasts. I used to really love podcasts, but I just kind of got sick of listening to people ramble about stuff that they just aren't experts on, and it's fun to hear people's opinions on things, and it's like more for entertainment and whatnot. But several months ago, maybe it was more than that, I don't know, but I've always subscribed to Audible, and I just recently discovered that Audible actually has a lot of the great courses on, some of them are actually for free with a membership to Audible, and some of them you can, obviously pay for with your 1 credit each month, if you do that tier, I guess, for the subscription. But anyway, if you're in the studio and on Patreon, you already know, I've gone down the rabbit hole of Western civilization, which was really interesting, and then late antiquity, which was also really interesting because that's a time period where kind of music history begins. The late antiquity kind of started around like 100, 200 AD, but music history, we generally start studying it around like 800 AD, because that's when the Gregorian chants start to really become prevalent. So it just was interesting to connect those dots there, and it was just so fascinating. I've discovered all these people that I wanted to read their books and just kind of learn about the time period. We had a guest artist who was an archaeologist and a historian and a professor of classics come and teach a class last month on just like the ancient Greek world and how music and art were so important to the ancient Greeks, because the fundamentals of Western civilization, a lot of it comes from that Greek culture. So that was really fascinating. I started reading, I've got stacks of books. I don't know if you're like this too, but when I like reading something, I like to read it, but I often have like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 other books that are kind of there, because for some reason my brain just likes to like have a few things, and it helps me to connect the dots, because sometimes they're all kind of related interests, the subjects of the books, and so I don't know. But anyway, I've been reading Gone with the Wind, which is so well written. Oh my gosh. It's like one of those books that you feel like just you're in that world and you're like a fly on the wall and you cannot stop reading it. So I've been reading that one recently. And then I started listening to one of the great courses on Audible's Civil War series. It's amazing. It's so amazing, and it's a time period that I really know nothing about. And I know that there was a Civil War documentary that Ken Burns did, and the wonderful composer, the blessed J. Unger, who wrote Ashokan Farewell. You guys know Ashokan Farewell. The composer of that beautiful song, that's I think the featured theme song of the Civil War documentary by Ken Burns. But I've just gone down this rabbit hole of history, and history is so fascinating. It's so fascinating, especially if you have a really awesome teacher to talk to you about it. It's like a magical story And I've just been loving it. I've been absolutely loving this learning experience, and just tuning off the talking heads, and tuning into something that's actually interesting and edifying. It's really uplifted my soul to learn all of this. And so I don't even know, I must have been like in a gray wasteland before I started to just really, um, the great courses are just so good. I'm going to stop rambling about them. But anyway, what are some other things that have been going on? We've, of course, had our every other Thursday evening group classes, and those have been lovely. We've had some time to study Western swing because this month's guest artist, Julie Leon Lieberman, who's the author of one of the books that I really love. I'll link it below. It's something like a festival of fiddle playing. That book talks all about every single almost style of fiddling that you can possibly think of. She goes in detail and talks about each style. She's going to be talking to us this month about Western swing. And so we did a little kind of like listening exercise and did some exploring down the rabbit hole of Western swing music. And I'm so excited to learn about how to play Western swing. It's very, it's the theme of the song, but it's also very improvisational because, it's more like dance music. And so you'd have the theme of the song, but you'd like play it for 15 minutes or so, but in different variations. And so I'm really excited to learn about that. We're going to have her back next month as well. And if you were wondering how to know about any of these things, it's all on Patreon. You can subscribe to it, stay in the loop for $1, $5, $15, $45. There's 4 tiers. But yeah, so it's been a lovely month. We have our virtual studio circle the end of this month, which is our Halloween virtual studio circle, and I have a magical witch's hat that is sitting over there behind this. And I'm going to definitely be wearing that. I also have a witch's dress, so I'm going to wear this witch's dress. It's not very interesting, it's just a black dress. But I have a witch's dress with a really awesome belt that I'm going to wear. And I bought that for some music videos ahead because my evil plan is, as you know, I'm working on a book of songs. They are Halloween songs, is to go and make some music videos at some point. I just have to record them. I've composed 6 of them. There's going to be 13 of them. Don't steal my idea. But anyway, it's been fun. It's been so fun to work on those. And I think in a few weeks I'm going to have one of my music friends come and we're going to play through the duets together and see if they make sense at all. But we've been going through them as a studio, the solo versions, and that's been really special to share my kind of magical creations with my students and have them play through it and think that it's awesome and fun and enjoy and struggle also to play through them. So it's been a really rewarding month. Earlier this month, we were in Arizona. We went out to see my dad. And I just, whenever you travel and you go to a place where you just are eating all the time, and then you just feel so fat when you get back. You just feel so fat. I just feel that way. I also, I'm feeling kind of not myself. And so one of the goals that I have for the end of the year is to try to move more, because with my composing and video making and teaching, I'm like sitting a lot. I'm just not moving a lot. I do exercise every day, except when I'm not feeling well. But that happens in the morning, and then for the rest of the day I'm not really moving as much. And so I'm really going to try to get 10,000 steps every day that I'm feeling well enough to. And so I'm also going to try and be extra careful, especially during the holidays, because it's the time of indulgence, but you can enjoy it without overeating all of the things. And so I'm just trying to be careful about that. I don't know if any of you else have goals like that too, but it's, I feel like it's no fun to not feel fabulous and feel yourself, I do notice that when I do practice, when I play my instrument, when I set time aside to actually do that, I feel so much better. There's a quote in I think it's the Library of Congress. I get it confused with something else, but there's a quote if it's the thing I'm thinking of, the Library of Congress, I have a picture of it on my Instagram, and it's like a temple to books and to knowledge. And on the wall, it's all covered in like beautiful quotes and gold and art, and it's just amazing in there. One of the quotes is, "You're never alone if you have a book," or something like that, something to that extent. One is never alone if one has a book by one side, you know. Books are there, they're your friends. You're never going to be lonely with a book. And it's the same thing with your instrument. You can never be lonely while you're playing your instrument. That's your time with you. That's your time with your instrument. And I know I'm not saying that I'm lonely. I'm completely spoiled and loved to death by my husband. But, you know, just sometimes the world is going through stuff, and we are all affected emotionally by it. Even if we're not going through it actually, we're all affected to some extent by just all the things that are happening. And so having a time to read, or having time to play your instrument, or having time to journal or do art, or set time aside to actually meet up with friends, or to do something out in the world, or to come to a violin and viola group class, or to come to a guest artist class, or to come to the Halloween virtual studio circle. Just making time to do things like that, they really uplift your soul. At least they make me feel so much better. And I know there's been countless times where I've done a group class, where we have our time together to just practice and maybe do some exploring together as a group, where I just really haven't felt very good when I started the class, but by the end of the class I'm happy and joyful and just feel so much better. It's like that little cloud, it just dissipates in the brightness of the collective joy of doing something that's wonderful and positive. So anyway, I think those are just about, oh my gosh, no, I started to study, I have a French teacher, and I also am trading harp lessons with her, and she's the mother of one of my dear students and friends, and I'm so excited because, as you know, you might know, I've probably mentioned it before, I've been studying French with the Babbel app. And every time I walk on the treadmill, which is living behind this here, I do my little French class on Babbel, which has been amazing, because when you're walking or you're doing a light exercise, the blood flow in your brain is better. You can remember things better. It's just been so fun. So I've been doing that since February or March this year, and I finally have a French teacher, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I'm also really excited to be teaching the harp. I'm so happy and so joyful to finally have a harp student. And so we've been using the book that's over there on this music stand right here. And we've been learning about the hand positions and tuning and all sorts of things. And we're learning like little things, little improvisational things. It's so special. And so that's been really a joy. So now I have my viola teacher, and I have a French teacher, and I feel so joyful and blessed to have them. So anyway, I hope you've been doing well. Let me know what you've been up to. Do you like Audible? Do you have an Audible subscription? Me and Audible are just like, we are so good. I've had Audible for the last 5 or 6 or 7 years. And I always have loved it. I've always listened to it. But for some reason, the great courses, not for some reason, I mean, they're amazing. The great courses are really, really amazing. It's not like you're listening to just a book, like you're being taught by a professor. And there's 25 hours of lectures on that subject. So you're really delving into whatever subject it is from the great courses. It's been really fascinating. I've really been loving reading. Are you reading anything? Have you learned anything about the Civil War, the American Civil War? Have you read Gone with the Wind? Have you watched the Ken Burns documentary? What are you doing for fall? Do you have 4 seasons? Have you been playing your instrument at all and making time to do that? Do you want to learn some holiday tunes over on Patreon? They're going to eventually come out on YouTube, but it'll be later on in December. So if you want to get a head start, It's only $5, and you can cancel any time, my darlings. I think with that, I will love and leave you. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble today. Pop over to 8 Notes and check them out. 8 Notes is one of my most important tools as a music teacher. I love 8 Notes, and it's only $20 to subscribe for the year to 8 Notes. They also have a lot of free content there, but we're going to be using 8 Notes a lot for our little holiday, Yuletide, Hanukkah, Christmas music, and for future things, of course. And if you're a music teacher, I would definitely add it to your repertoire of music. It's great for discovering music and sight reading. And they've got all sorts of levels. Like, they have some really even advanced repertoire, and for all sorts of instruments, which is really cool. So I think with that, you guys, I'll love and leave you. I hope you have a wonderful season, a wonderful Halloween, a Samhain, and I will see you all very soon. Now it's too high. Fiddle-dee-dee. The autumn leaves. Da-da-da. This one is now too high. Just be natural. Just be kind of natural, and it'll be fine.